Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Anthony Joshua is underestimating Jake Paul. Now, I'm telling you right now, when you look at it, Anthony Joshua, gold medalist, two-time heavyweight champion, man, he's supposed to get in there and tranquilize Jake. Jake's not supposed to stand a chance. That's just the real, okay? But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, is Anthony Joshua's underestimating him. This is a money grab to AJ. Does he want to win? Yes. Is he going to get in there and try to win? Yes. Is he going to win? He should. But I'll put it to you this way. Jake Paul's already won. He's already won the fight. All Jake Paul has to do is get in there and get through the first round. And Anthony Joshua is the laughing stock of boxing. And you know what? I think Jake Paul's going to get through the first round. Second round on, I don't know what's going to happen. But I can see Anthony Joshua. I don't care what excuse he tries to make. You know, I just played it cool and I was just having fun. It was like a big highlighted sparring match to me. But we're going to know if it's a real fight or not. But I just feel with Anthony Joshua, he'll get your money. Can't blame him. 90 million? What would you do? You go get your money. But go get the knockout too. Vastly superior fighter. Vastly superior fighter in every traditional boxing metric. Got the experience, got the resume, got the championship pedigree, ring IQ, proven durability at an elite level, power. Anthony Joshua has everything. On paper, man, that's why I say this matchup looks lopsided. But I just have a feeling Jake Paul's like, nah, y'all gonna see. I think he's gonna, if it's a real fight, he's gonna try to win. And it's cool to go down swinging. And that's what Jake Paul has to do. But the thing for Anthony Joshua, if Jake Paul lands, all he needs to do is hit him. Doesn't mean he's going to knock him out. If he's in there and he lands shots on Anthony Joshua, as far as his reputation, he will never recover. Because no matter what, people still see Jake Paul as a joke, a cartoon character, the Disney kid. But I'm telling you, Jake Paul's a boxer. You know, y'all can forget about all that bullshit. And you know what? It's nothing wrong with being a YouTuber. He made a point yesterday about how YouTubers, man, and the amount of money they're making more than fighters. He made a very good point. So it's not laughable, you know, being a YouTuber or a social media personality that's making multiples of millions of dollars. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But it is something to be ashamed of if you're a professional boxer like AJ with his accolades and accomplishments, and he gets in there and Jake Paul is touching him up. But I just think when you look at boxing and the history of boxing, you know, it's shown repeatedly that when you start underestimating opponents, especially someone like Jake Paul, he's not small, but he's got the confidence, he got the preparation, and he has the desire to win. That's how chaos starts. And Anthony Joshua could be walking into some chaos, man. Plus, Jake Paul's not a traditional boxer at all. But he's not a novelty anymore either. You know, he's committed fully to training. He lives in the gym, understands how to weaponize his timing, speed, moments, not just power. Even several fighters have come out and said, Jake Paul can fight. They're saying, they say, Anthony Joshua gets in there playing around, Anthony Joshua can walk into a rude awakening. They're all saying it. The white boy can hit, the white boy can fight. They're like, he's a fighter. Y'all need to get beyond the fact of what, you know, his thing with his path to success. They're like, you forget the fact that he's white. They're like, he's a fighter. And I like when people come out and defend him because I don't like people talking this racial bullshit either. That doesn't mean nothing. It means nothing. But what I will tell you, if Joshua mentally treats this like an exhibition or publicity bout, then risk is going to enter the equation. Right? And those are just the facts, man. Now, for Jake Paul, look, he wants to use his speed. He's smaller, so he wants to use that, which is an advantage. And he wants to try to frustrate Anthony Joshua. So can that strategy work? I don't know. But one thing we know, Jake Paul cannot outbox Anthony Joshua in the classical sense, all right? That's what you call taking it beyond the stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's like you took it to the stupid several times. That's ridiculous. But his path to success will rely on speed, movement, feints, psychological pressure, not prolonged exchanges where Anthony Joshua shoots that uppercut. Jake Paul's up out of here. Jake is reportedly emphasizing his hand speed, quick entries and exits, and creating awkward rhythms to disrupt Joshua's timing. Sounds like he wants to recreate an Alexander Usyk performance. Sounds good, but let's be real. Hey, yo, Jake, if you feel you can get in there and perform like Usyk, I kindly request, in the most respectful way, that you hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid. Damn, Usyk is different, man. Joshua. Especially when you look at what happened with him and Ruiz, him and Usyk. He's shown moments of hesitation, man, when opponents don't give him predictable looks. So Jake's goal would be, touch without getting touched. Can he do that? We'll find out. Jake has to steal moments early. Can he do that? I don't know. We'll find out. And he's got to force Joshua to overthink rather than assert dominance. But Joshua may decide to go after him and make a Ruiz mistake because he underestimated Andy Ruiz. And Jake Paul may catch him with some shit. You just don't know, man. But understand this, size-wise compared to AJ, Jake Paul is dwarfed. But Jake is like 6'2", so he's not really all that small, and AJ's 6'6". But Jake Paul is a legitimate cruiser to heavyweight size man, and he does have some strength. He's got power, and that alone means that, no fighter should get in there underestimating Jake Paul, and you can't sleepwalk throughout rounds without consequence. And the consequence could be Jake Paul hitting you with the bing bings and getting you up out of there. I just think what Jake Paul could cause trouble for Joshua is the danger for AJ is that Jake Paul has improved, and he's underestimating just how good Jake Paul has become. It only takes one chaotic Jake Paul moment to really create something disastrous. Early rounds matter. That's when any and every fighter is the most dangerous. You come in there underestimating any fighter, even a guy you consider as a bum. He can hurt you. You can get knocked out. The first round is where everybody's the most dangerous, man. You could just ask Peter Quillen that when he got in there with Daniel Jacobs. He just bum rushed him and got him apart. He caught him slipping. I wonder if Joshua was going to start slow and cautious, because I tell you what, Joshua can come out here and be grinning and showing all 32 teeth, and be happy about getting a fight with Jake Paul. But Anthony Joshua, he doesn't trust his chin. He doesn't trust his chin. And Jake Paul knows I just got to touch him. I just got to get to him. What happens if he lands cleanly on the chin and Jake Paul gains confidence, and all of a sudden the slow, cautious, overly technical AJ is in there holding on for dear life against Jake Paul, the same way he did against Ruiz? Jake Paul will go on to become a gazillionaire. The amount of people will be behind this man, different brands and sponsorships and endorsements, they'll be all over Jake Paul. I'm telling you. And that's why Jake Paul worked on speed. His speed could force Joshua into reset mode. His willingness to clinch, smother, and make the fight ugly could frustrate AJ as well. Pull him out of his preferred mid-range power zone where AJ thrives. And psychologically, Jake thrives in moments where the pressure flips. Remember, Jake Paul is a real boxer. Jake Paul can pick up if someone doesn't like something that's happening in that ring. Same way AJ can. But at the end of the day, you still got to expect AJ to dominate, not Jake Paul. And that's just being real. But you just don't know. So the reality is Joshua's still favored heavily going into this fight. If AJ is focused, disciplined, aggressive with purpose, the gap becomes obvious quickly. We already know there's a gap, but it's going to show up in that first round. The jab alone, he can just destroy. He can shoot it at Jake Paul's chest, and just hit him there all day. Joshua's an 80-plus inch reach, man. Shit is, on paper, it's all bad for Jake Paul. Got the power, got the experience, been in there with elite level pressure, and he has all that. He should overwhelm Jake Paul, man. You know what I'm saying? He should just overwhelm him, man. But we're gonna see, because Joshua's faced Olympic gold level talent. Has Jake Paul improved to the point to where he can get in there and perform on the level as a Usyk or other fighters who have Olympic pedigree talent? Can Jake Paul do that? I don't know. But Jake Paul's not an ex-Olympian. Jake Paul is a guy who picked up boxing and has been working diligently to reach the point that he's reached, and he deserves to be commended for that. But I just think if AJ commits to breaking Jake down, not rushing, not hunting, not looking for the stupid violent knockout, but systematically applying that pressure, the fight ends likely in Joshua's favor. It should end in a knockout, but can Jake do it? Can he win? Yeah, but the odds are extremely low. He can do it, but the odds are extremely low, man. Can he make it uncomfortable? Yeah, I think he can. Can he expose mental lapses and if Joshua underestimates him? Possibly. Can he frustrate AJ and force awkward moments? I think that's his best chance. I really do. But for Jake to have sustained dominance, sustained success, it will require Joshua to abandon discipline. And I just don't think I think he knows what's at stake. Fury next year, $150 million paydays. You go fuck that up. You know what I'm saying? So if AJ's learned anything over the past few years, is that respecting danger is non-negotiable. And I don't think he's going to get in there. Matter of fact, he may just be cool with going the distance, saying, I ain't taking no unnecessary risks. I'm just going to come and beat him and be done with it. So at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua underestimating Jake Paul would be a big mistake. Not because Jake's elite, but because boxing punishes arrogance. Jake doesn't need to be better. He needs to be disruptive. He needs to be fast. He needs to be confident, opportunistic, and do whatever it takes to win this fight. But if Joshua is sharp, if he's serious, this shit won't go more than a round. I'm telling you, it won't go more than a round. But if Joshua's in the casual, defensive, mentally distant, hand down around his knees, joking, laughing, playing to the crowd, Jake Paul can make headlines. Even if he doesn't win, he can make headlines. I'm telling you. Anyway, that's why we're talking, because there's some tension there. But we just got to wait and see what happens. Because right now, AJ's like, this guy cannot beat me. And he's not supposed to. But he can still, in a loss, end up winning the fight. That's what AJ can't allow. Hey, yo, shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Follow me on all platforms. Give me a donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. In the breed.